All right, ladies and gentlemen, are there any other questions or comments? We're out here for a variety of reasons. We're out here to answer questions about the Bible, and we're basically answering questions about the worldview. If your worldview says there is no God, if God is impossible, come to the mic and talk to us about it. If your worldview, if I have a brother-in-law who used to be a Christian, but one day decided, no, you know what, I'm not going to be a Christian anymore because somebody said that evolution was true. And I read about it in the textbooks, and all these scientists are believing it. And if evolution is true, then God can't be true, and these Christians are fools. Ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly opposite of logic. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I teach biology at a high school. I know full well what evolution is, and I full well what the evidence for evolution is. Some of the top evolutionist scholars will say this: evolution is unprovable and unlikely, but the alternative is impossible. It is incomprehensible that there could be a God. So we're going to go with evolution despite the fact that we really have absolutely no evidence for it. And I just misquoted the man who said that, but I'll get the quote later a little better. Thank you. Yes?
Oh, I got a whole book chock full I should bring out with highlighted sections of certain people who are all evolutionary adherents, biologists, chemists, physicists, who state similar such things.
Right, unproved and unprovable, but the alternative is...
having the divine foot in the door they do not want.
Yeah.
So that being special creation, they don't want that to be the alternative.
There is absolutely no proof for evolution. Obviously, there's proof for microevolution, for variations of a species. That's why me and you don't look alike. That's why we have men and women. You know, we have variations of a species. Nobody disagrees with that. Nobody. No Christians disagree with that. And so that's not the argument. The argument is, can one species become another species? Can one animal become another kind of animal? The answer, if you look at the fossil record, is absolutely not. There's no evidence in the fossil record. In fact, the geologic column is an embarrassment to evolutionists. They will look and look and look, and they'll find one little thing, and they'll harp on it. But they really, when you come down to it, have no authority or no evidence to say this is an evolutionary link, because they're creating that link. They're creating that link in their own human mind, and they're forcing it on their evolutionary construct. When we find these primitive species, and then we find fully formed humans lower in the geologic column, they say, well, the fully formed human is there inappropriately, there's something wrong, but we know our theory is correct. Let's ignore everything in the geologic column that doesn't fit. Let's ignore the Cambrian explosion, and let's just imagine that everything fits together perfectly, and let's put it in the textbooks, and let's tell everybody it's true. It's not, it's a lie.
Speaking of the Cambrian period and the geological column, I was watching this video where they were talking about how, you know, all the beginning life stages of single cell to multi-cell to little critters of whatever globs and stuff that would have to precede.
Right. By the way, there are no such thing as a two-celled organism.
Okay.
Okay. So we have 100-celled organisms, 1,000-celled organisms, or we have a one-celled organism.
So a bacteria would be
a one-celled organism.
Yeah. So what they were saying was all the below the Precambrian and the other ones in the geological column that come before that constitute 99 point. I don't know. It was like most of the time period that supposedly had happened for this evolutionary process, and then all of a sudden, in the Cambrian layer, they say, bam, you know, fully formed.
Everything is fully formed in that Cambrian period.
Exoskeletons.
There are no missing links before that if you dig deeper down, and when they dig deeper down, they often find more complete. Rarely that they find anything beyond the geologic column, but the occasional instance that they do, they often find more complex organisms.
And added to that, which what you mentioned is pretty interesting too, how it's all jumbled up, and their idea, which now crumbles, that they said this is older, isn't such the case. But also that they find what they call soft-bodied fossils, meaning they have the meat on them, which indicates they didn't rot.
They're all
before
over the place.
So they got buried pretty quick. It was not a slow fossilization
In fact,
process.
one of the greatest finds recently is in China, and the Chinese scientists are disputing evolution, but it's not ever covered. They're saying it's impossible, just this Western theory of evolution. We're not going to say what's true, but we're looking at the column, we're looking at the evidence, and it's not holding up to this evolutionary construct that the fossil record shows that simpler organisms evolve, more complex organisms evolve from simpler organisms. That's just not shown in the fossil record. We see complex organisms appearing suddenly and instantly right there. And they are very similar to the organisms we have today, and in many cases are the same as we have today.